Hello everyone, and welcome to the Yarnivore Podcast, episode 154, also known as the Gray Day Podcast. I have every lighting source I can have going in this room going, but it's just not gonna work. So it's gonna be weird and backlit. I'm sorry. It's the only time I'm apologizing for it. I tried. The sun is not cooperating. As long as there's no thunder, I'm okay. If there's thunder, I'm in trouble. Because Bebop does not do thunder. And you know, a bunch of people apologize for drinking on their I don't. Do you want me to talk as much as I do? You're going to watch me sip my coffee. So, what have I been up to? I've been busy. On many different levels. So let's start with the one you're all thinking about. The epic blanket of Doomy Doom. Okay. So, I finished 7 more squares. Which is 1 more row. So, there's a dark blue with sparklies. That's Jack. This is Jack and it's a purple. This is Jack and it's a light blue. Also with sparkles. Apparently this row is heavy with sparkles. A bright red, Jack, orange and black, which is me, this kind of Neapolitan color that I finished off with gray because I ran out, also Jack, the gray is me, and green, which is Jack. So I did finish the prerequisite 7. I have not seamed it together or added it onto the blanket. That may happen tonight. I have 7 more squares. 7 more. Which means my goal is to show you next week at least the second half has been completed. Not holding out any hope right now. Well, yeah I am. Why would I say that? I am holding out hope. I'm pretty sure I'll get it done. And I'm pretty sure I will be almost finished the Stash Dash when I'm done. Because it's, what is it, 4620 or 4260? Either way, there's like over 4,000 yards in this blanket without the border. I did start on the border. I said I was going to. For the long ways, I had a 60-inch 3.5mm needle. That's what I used. So there's the border. I knit it on the short edge, so for the long edge, I'll probably need 2 of those. But it's smished on, so we're all good. And I used Patton's Croix in the Gentry Gray colorway, which is really close to a black. It's not a true black, though. It's a gray. And it's kind of heathery looking. I just figured Patton's Croix, it's a good wash and wear. So, this edging is done. I did, 8 rows of garter? Yeah, 8 rows of garter and bound off. Just to give it the square some stability. I did go up, I think I was using a 2.25 and I did the border on a 3.5. Really, just because I didn't want it to be tight. Because I know everything's going to loosen up, so I didn't want the border to be excessive. And then I went up to a 4.5 for my bind off row. Like, I didn't knit it, I bound off with a 4.5. Just, again, I wanted stretch in the edge. So there you have it. So basically, I will have to reblock this whole bloody thing once it's got its border on for the border to look proper. The border does look proper. Let's see, can you see? Can you see? See, the border looks okay. It flips up a little. Whatevs. I have bigger fish to fry than a border that's not laying flat right off the hop. It lays flat for the most part. I picked up with a 1-to-1 ratio and then I double picked on the corner edge here. Boop. On the corner right here where the 2 meet, I picked up 1 on one side and 1 on the other side extra, and then I knit them together on the first row, just to kind of pull things in. I don't know what I was thinking, but it works. So there you have it. Stuff's falling. Stuff is falling. My hair is still wet. Oh well. It's in a braid too. I have a little teeny tiny braid back here, and it's not staying in, but it is doing the trick. My allergies are of course flaring up because they're mowing the grass like crazy outside. Don't ask me why. I live in a village, a gated village if you will. There's no gate, but there is a walled village. That annoys me. But they are obsessed with lawn maintenance. Obsessed. They're constantly, like, it looks like it's gonna rain. They're out there mowing and weed whacking and just let it grow, people. Like, seriously, they mowed 2 days ago. They're gonna mow again in 2 days. There's just too much mowing. It's flowing up all the pollens and stuff, and it's making my nose unhappy. So, the epic blanket got 7 more squares. I am 7 squares away from being done all the squares, and then I have 3 edges. That is not a lot. I will admit, I hit that wall of, please not another square. And we went to see Godzilla this weekend. We went on Friday. It's a good movie if you like the Toho ones. Godzilla. It's not like Matthew Broderick Godzilla. It's like old school Godzilla. Having said that, I pulled out my knitting and I took a square, and I don't know what I was thinking. I should have taken a stripy sock because then I could have just powered down. But with the squares, you got to do the yarn over row, and I'm like holding it up. People are like, "What is she doing?" Like, I'm knitting, man. Leave me alone. If I eat any more popcorn, I'll explode. I got 4 rows done, and I didn't screw any up. So I'm really proud of that. But I should have taken a stripy sock, right? The stripy sock maker should have taken a stripy sock where she knew one would be needed. So much with the smart. Not so much with the smart. Now, Godzilla was basically an exchange, a lateral exchange, because Saturday was Shepherd's Harvest. Now there's going to be some Shepherd's Harvest talk. Hold on, what do I have here? Yes, there will be Shepherd's Harvest talk. And then, as Amy Beth would say, shameless self-promotion. So if any of that bores you, there's also going to be fleece processing talk. So if any of that bores you, you're more than welcome to piss off right now. I can't tell, and I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. But if you like that stuff, grab a chair. Yeah, I'm sorry that's the only knitting I've got. My husband leaves on June 10th, and this blanket needs to get done. He has like 1 more week of work, 1.5 weeks of work, and then he's home. And there is still, like, the house is a friggin' mess. And of course, side tangent, if I am a new Navy wife, and some military wives, like, I know Coggy would not be flustered by anything that is going out. She would just be like, been there, done that. We had to do a household move conference, which basically entails them telling us about... I've moved a bagillion times. Seriously. Last time I counted, like, this was, what, 31st move for me? My mother moved for work, so we have had work move an entire house before. I'm not new to this. But they have to explain it in such minute detail, in such a way that it can be processable to the masses. So it's like spelled out to a kindergarten level for this household move thing. All I wanted to know is, can he pack toothpaste in that, or do I have to pack that in his carry-on, or in his checked baggage? I've got rational questions in my mind. They're talking about diving suits and flight suits. What was the other weird one? Collapsible tables and flat screen TVs. he's not moving the house. I'm staying here with the house and all the stuff. He has some specialty little mini move where he's allowed to take personal items, like a cup. Now, if you know my husband, you know he's a minimalist. Very few of you know my husband, the 3 who do. But needless to say, he's a minimalist who's used to living with very little. So for him, it's like, I can take everything. There are a few things he's having shipped, like the Xbox, which I have to leave plugged in so they can see it works. And then the serial number and stuff has to be down. Like, I've moved like this before. I've moved with the little numbers and the manifests and marking off dings. Like, this does not shock me, because he's leaving and the household goods ships after he's gone. So I'm the person who has to watch them do it, sign off on it, and send it. Or basically let them ship it. And then he has to receive it there, because they're doing it at the end of June, which is significantly past when he's already been there. So, and he's staying at a place that provides you with things like beds and tables and chairs and maybe a microwave. I don't know. If he gets a place with a kitchenette, he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. They're hard to get out there. I wonder why. So we had an hour-long conference about that, and it was just like, you know what? I don't need to be on this conference call, but I am. And I had to go to the washroom so bad halfway through. So bad. I'm just like, I don't care about if he has to make a claim, because I can't access the programming that I would have to make a claim. He has to make it. The best I can do is take pictures of everything, watch these guys like a hawk, and sign off on it. You've told me this. Just let me go to the washroom. Anyway, it ended. But that was taken care of. So household goods, check. When he comes home and we have to move the entire house somewhere, we may have to do that again. By may, it means it depends on how neurotic I am. I don't like people touching my stuff. I don't care if you protect the country or if you're a genius. I don't like other people packing my crap. Only I can pack my crap. So long and short of it, it's like, I pack my crap. Can't we just, like, pack everything and then have movers come? What if they break a plate? If I break a plate, I'm on the line. If they break a plate, I have to file a claim, and then I have to provide data and information. Like, seriously, just let me pack my friggin' shit. But that's another rant for another day. So that was part of my week. That Godzilla, Shepherd's Harvest. Now, Shepherd's Harvest fun. So I went with Jack, and we met up with Christy, who is Knit Swear Tink, who is very, very pregnant. Very pregnant. Actually, she's not, well, she's very pregnant, but she's not very, very pregnant. But visibly pregnant. I don't know. What's the nice word for that? She doesn't look fat, but she is pregnant. She is with child. I'm going to stop on this. Anyway, so we hung out. We went through, we saw everything. We went through all the booths. And I knew one thing. Actually, I knew several things, but I knew one big thing, and that's I'm teaching fleece processing at SSK. Thusly, I need lots of fleece. Thusly. See, there's a rationale. I can spend X amount of dollars on X number of fleeces in any of these inquiring breeds because I'm teaching a class on it, right? I was very good. I bought nothing for myself that wasn't fleece. And technically it's for SSK. I enjoy it in all ways, shapes, and forms. So, like, I mean, it was like I bought a bunch of stuff for myself, but I didn't. Hubby bought me some of these because I Googled them, and they had a bunny. This is the Angora Girls Fiber Arts Angora, 0.5 ounces, $7. They're little poony roll eggs. Roll poons? Poon rolls. And they're out of Winona, Minnesota. creatively meeting your daily fiber needs through spinning, dyeing, felting classes, and related products. They're adorable. And I got to pet their bunnies. Seriously, it's a miracle I didn't walk away with the bunny. Porter just kept telling me that Frank would eat it. So they're gorgeous. Gorgeous. And they're Angora. Gorgeous Gora. And I love the presentation here. They had a couple different colors and a couple different blends. Some had alpaca in them. But I've never spun 100% Angora, so I was like, heck yeah! And it's perfect drop spindling fiber fare. When it comes to drop spindling, Puni fiber fare, awesome. So my little guy will be perfect. My little Turkish. Then, oh, the barns. Oh, the barns. If you follow me on Instagram, there was a picture of Christy with the tag, damn it, Sadie. And I apologize for swearing there. But, yeah, I'm a horrible enabler. Don't go look at fleeces with me around. Because I will eventually just, talk you into it. I didn't have to talk too hard, but I did talk her into it. So, of course, the first thing well, no, we'll go out of order, because I have processed some. I got a gorgeous little BFL. I say little, it was a pound 8 ounces, so it was a smaller one, and it looks like this in its raw form. As you can see, this is really dark gray here, and then it goes to like the brownie tips. It's got a relatively long staple fiber. This is, based off of my hand, it's probably around 4.5 inches, this particular one. And as you can see, gorgeous crimp. It's super soft. And because there's so little of it, and I'm taking some of it raw to SSK, I did want to process them because I love to be able to show you guys what it looks like when it's all processed and yummy. So here is the washed stuff. I washed it yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, it showed up. Look at that. And as you can see, there is a bit of variance in this fleece because this is almost 7. It's probably a 6-inch long staple. But all of that color came out, and now it's just this. There's a light gray there, you can kind of see. And the tips are kind of, there's a little bit of sun hinting there, but for the most part it's a white tip. So gorgeous. And now I will fluff it out for you, just to show you how gorgeous it looks when it is fluffed. Grabbing my fluffing tool. I really just want to spin this. You have no idea. You have no, well, you do have an idea. If you've watched me, you have an idea. And I just want to fluff it out all prettily. Normally I'm a little more quick and less intent on what I'm doing, but I really want you to see. Look at how gorgeous that comes out. Look at that. Look at that. I could probably spin it straight from this. I could probably get away with just spinning it like this. I really could. It would also do nice with a combed preparation because it's so long. It would dissolve so nicely. Like I could do a comb top out of this with no, well, a combed top always takes longer, but oh, look at that. Look at that. And it's so soft. You have no idea. Like when I touch it, the actual stuff, like the not washed stuff, which you can see, it's very sheepy. There is some serious lanolin in here because of the tightness of the fibers. The crimp is not tight. The crimp is actually quite loose, as you can see, in a lock, but it's just really well sheeped. Let's call it well sheeped. It came out easily, and and there was so little chaff. Like, I mean, there was 1 second cut in the whole fleece. There 1 second cut. This thing was skirted within an inch of its life. There were like 4 pieces of hay, and it was unjacketed. This woman is meticulous. And this came from 3 Rivers Farms in Wisconsin. I looked them up on the internet, and she also does Cormo. And she's having trouble with her Cormo flocks and their tips breaking because they're lambing. In the spring is so hard on them after the winter. And I feel for her because she was a very lovely woman who knew a lot about her sheep, but that is really going to affect the fleece if they're not happy or if they're under stress. Clearly her BFLs were not having babies, because this stuff is like a gray-white butter. There's hints of darker gray, there's hints of lighter gray. Look on Instagram. There's pictures on Instagram. There will always be pictures on Instagram. I will probably take a picture of this comparison that I have sitting with me right here, again, to put on Instagram. That was one of the fleeces. But I bought smaller fleeces. I wanted more manageable sizes because I have a surprise. But you won't see that's for SSK. There's a surprise at SSK fleece-wise. But for the rest of the stuff. So then I got this. And it's not uncommon for fleece to come in these giant clear plastic bags. This gorgeous, gorgeous piece of fleece. It's a big baby. It's a big honker. 3 pounds, 2 ounces of CVM named Brownie. I can tell why it was named Brownie. I'm just gonna... This one's next up on my processing because I have not seen this color in a sheep in ages without it like being a sunned tip or something. So CVM, of course, is the California variegated mutant. They're a conservation breed. They're in the fine wool family, I believe. I didn't really go over BFL because we all use BFL so much. It's such a multi-tasked yarn. I've done Rommeldale. I don't think I've done CVM proper. And so this is from Crosby Hill Farms, which is registered CVM Rommeldale sheep and Angus beef cattle, breeding stock, fiber pets, lamb and beef, natural colored and hand-dyed fibers, fleeces, locks, yarn, and comb top. They're out of Hinckley, Minnesota. I love buying local. You have no idea. It just makes me so happy. So this is Brownie. Can you see that gorgeous? It's not a dark chocolate. That's actually pretty close. It's a deep brown, but it's not dark chocolate, which is usually what you get, dark chocolate, and they call it black. The crimp on this is so tight, I can't even get it to come into focus. This is so awesome. Like, oh. And this is a shorter staple. That was one of my worries. There was a black, which is really dark brown, unless it's a black blackface. Welsh blackface, Welsh mountain blackface. Unless it's that one, it's going to be a chocolate brown. There's no way around that. If I say that one more time, I'm going to slap myself. I'm sorry. Basically, they're going to be dark browns. There is no true black in sheep's, except for that one, which was bred for fleece color. This one is a deep brown. Usually I find this in alpaca, which made me love it even more. So they did have the dark chocolate brown one, and its staple length was just a smidge longer, so I went with this one. I don't really have a problem with the staple length. If it's an inch, it's useless to me. But this This is about 2.5, 3 in spots. So I'm down, and this is still full of sheepiness. I'm so gonna have to wash my hands when I'm done recording. But this is probably going to be next up for me to process a little bit of, because I really want to see how this washes out, because I think it's just going to pop so much. And then, of course, I had to go see my favoriteest people in the world, my favoriteest lady in the world, my sheepstress, which is, of course, where Christy got hers. It is Joxer's Jacobs. You'll find them on Facebook if you like Jacob yarn. Her Jacobs are an American breeded Jacob, and she loves her sheep. I think she loves her sheep more than I love my pets. She had stories for each of her sheep. This is Rosie, who is the mother of Primrose, who is the one Christy has, and Rosie is stinking gorgeous. It's a beautiful lilac mixed with white. There's no black in this fleece. It's got a great crimp. It's nice and tight, soft. It's going to get softer. I'd put it at about 3.5 to 4 inches. So pretty. So pretty. Just look at that. Look at it. Oh, so pretty. And she was telling me Rosie's the matriarch. She owns everybody else, and she tells them what to do. She's loud. She's obnoxious. If she thinks she needs to be fed, she'll let her know. I was like, so it's the Petrie of cats. Or it's the Petrie of sheep. I have the Petrie of sheep. And she had traded for this new kind. And she wasn't really in the know. I had to get some. This is as true a black as you're going to get in a non-black sheep. And it is Shotzi. And Shotzi is a Jacob crossed with a Dorset. Now, she did say they had horns, and their horns were removed by the previous owner. However, that was the mother. This is the lamb. And I'm not sure if they're a Dorset down or a Dorset horn, or a pulled Dorset. But when you mix that together with a Jacob, oh my god. So soft, so crimpy, so yummy. So, look at that crimp. Can you see that crimp? Look at that crimp. I have never played with Dorset. Dorset is a semi-fine, almost fine wool that doesn't lend itself to felting, which is also true of the Jacob breed, which is why I like them, and why I think they're a good beginner fleece, because they're hard to felt, and they're soft. They're not a long wool. They're not rough. They, if you get the American kind and you feel it beforehand, you can usually find some pretty close to the finer end with a higher micron count. But oh my god, look. I wish you could see this better. You can kind of see the crimp, but I have never played with the Dorset cross. Apparently this little guy, Shotzi, who I have, he's a big boy. Shotzi is my biggest fleece, and I don't mind. Where's that brown I just saw? Right here. Right here. What are you? Oh no, you're still fleece. I was curious. I was like, is that poop? I know. Jess is just laughing her ass off. No, that is still fleece. Huh, he must have some browns in him. You can get black, brown, and lilac, as well as white. Characteristically, they're 60% or higher of white. That is not necessarily always true. That's just a mean average or a median. The British tend to be more brown. I may actually pull that brown out. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But I haven't pulled that one out in like that one, it's going to go the CVM, the Jacob Dorset, and then lastly the Jacob, because I am almost on the other one I have. How many Jacobs can you have? I may as well just get a flock at this point, right, guys? But those will all be making appearances at SSK in both their raw and their unraw, their processed forms. Aside from the fact that they'll be making appearances on my podcast as they get processed. I apologize. Apparently the mowers have gotten over here. Those were my big purchases, really. The Joxers Jacobs. I was not expecting to find a Jacob Dorset cross, so that was really exciting to me. And there's a shop update on Friday. And there will be 2 new colorways showing up. This one, let's see, it's kind of blasted out, but it's pretty close. Goes from a reddish brown to a dark green to a medium green to a light green. And this one goes from a dark brown to a tan to a light blue to a dark blue. These are 490 yards of a 3-ply merino, superwash merino. So these are shawl length gradients, or what have you. I'm calling them progressive color. I haven't really named them that much. I haven't gotten past that. I just wanted to make sure I showed you because they'll be in the shop on Friday. And they are really hard to take pictures of. Those blues, they are shaded, so there will be like some hints of lighterness, as you can see in this one. You can see it kind of right in here. There are hints of shaded solidness, but they are really pretty. And there will be tulips and vegetables and gothic rainbow. Friday, noon central. That's all I'm putting in the shop this week. I am going to be dying like a crazy fiend this week, but again, you will not see it. Whatever doesn't sell, of course, will go up on the interwebs after I get home. Now that's been a half hour. That's all I had to say. Most of my stuff was Shepherd's Harvest. It was super fun. If you find that there's a local fiber festival in your area and you're like, I don't know if I should go or not, you should go. It may not be a big one, but there's still a lot of fun and you can really just enjoy yourself and eat a giant pickle on a stick. It's true. Giant pickle on a stick. Alrighty. Have a great week. I will see everybody next week.